Hey everybody, welcome back to Kentucky Outdoors. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video. Right now it's coming towards the end of trapping season, and I know right now there's a lot of talk. I believe we're almost a week removed from President Biden's State of the Union address, and something that come up in it, there was actually several things that come up in it that kind of troubled me a little bit. But one thing that come up that I wanted to talk about was he had made comments about wanting to ban, he was started it off, I believe, with talking about handguns, semi-automatic handguns, and then rolled into what he calls, or what most people call, assault weapons. First and foremost, a disclaimer, I'm not a weapons expert. I'm just what most people would call a good old boy from Kentucky that loves to hunt and fish and owns firearms. Now, I believe that every single person should be educated on firearms. Everything from safety to just knowing the different types of firearms and what they do. One term that I know a lot of people hate to hear, and I hate hearing it, is the term assault weapon. That's not what AR stands for. An assault weapon would literally be if you assaulted someone with that weapon. But I digress. First and foremost, why do we need pistols? Why do I carry a semi-automatic pistol? I carry a 40 Smith & Wesson. It's not just for my protection. Yes, I have a wife and 2 girls. If I'm out and about, normally I try to carry my sidearm, and it does stay loaded. It stays on my hip. But it's not just for my protection or their protection. It's for anyone that is around me. As a gun owner, I believe that I should be responsible and learn how to handle this firearm. I should be responsible and practice with it. I should know how to hit my targets and how to feel comfortable with my weapon. But, I've heard a lot of people say, well, that's why we have the police, just call the police. The average time that it takes for a police officer to arrive at a scene is roughly 10 to 15 minutes. If I'm in a store and someone opens fire, and I hope this never happens, I know that I'm taking a risk drawing my weapon. I'm first and foremost, I'm bringing attention to me. Should a police officer come in, they don't know who the suspect is. They don't know who the individual shooting is. In a sense, I become a target, not to the police officer's fault, but I take that responsibility into my own hands. But the average time that it takes to draw a firearm is less than 3 seconds. It doesn't take long for me to draw that. Now, once I've drawn it, of course, you have people running around and everything trying to get to safety. To me, it's my responsibility as a gun owner to protect every single person around me at all costs. I don't care what that person's political beliefs are. I don't care if they like guns, if they dislike guns, if they believe that every person should be disarmed. It is my responsibility to defend that person because I'm there. That is my responsibility. That is my opinion. Next thing, the banning of assault weapons. Why is this a big deal? First off, like I said earlier, assault weapons, if an AR is not a fully automatic weapon. Now, you can get licensing, I believe, to get a fully automatic weapon. I think those are few and far between. And honestly, that's a lot of red tape that most gun owners really don't want to go through. I don't have the time, the money to go through something like that. I really don't see the point of owning a fully automatic weapon for myself. But AR-15s are not fully automatic. I'll show an example here in a moment. But I know a lot of people say, well, what's the big deal? Let's just get rid of ARs. Okay, let's say you get rid of ARs. Why? Why specifically the AR? AR comes in generally the 5.56 NATO or the 223. Not a very big round. I've seen people comment on Facebook and people on the news talking about how, you know, it leaves a watermelon-sized hole in someone and you get shot with a 5.56 or you get shot by AR, you're instantly dead. It's going to incinerate anything that goes through. The thing about the AR-15, it's a body style. You can buy AR-15 style rifles in, and I'm not going to be able to list them all. I should have wrote them down. I completely forgot to. But I know you can buy them in 5.56, 223. That's standard. You can also buy them in 22. You can buy them in 300 blackout. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can buy them in 9mm. Just because a rifle looks scary doesn't mean it's scary. And let's go ahead and let's say, for instance, we get rid of the AR-15. Okay. You also have other rifles in 5.56, 223, 9mm, 22, and that would be something that eventually the government would bring up. Like, well, okay, we got rid of the AR. Well, now we need to get rid of these rifles, but we're not coming after your hunting rifles. Well, I'll show here in a second just how quick my little 22 squirrel rifle is. I use it for squirrel hunting, and I use it for dispatching nest predators that I catch on trap line. But I'll show that here in a moment, just to show why they would want to get rid of it. The AR-15 is just a foot in the door. Because who's to say, okay, they get rid of the AR-15, now they get rid of our semi-automatic 22s, our pistols, now we're left basically defenseless. Well, we still have our, our 308 rifles. I've got a 243 I'll show here in a moment. And I've even heard some people refer to them as sniper rifles. My 243 is that's my deer gun. I've taken, I believe, 13 deer with it since I've had it. And that's another thing I've heard people say, well, you can't deer hunt with an AR-15. You can absolutely deer hunt with a AR-15. I know a lot of people here in the state of Kentucky, you can use, I believe it's a 10-round magazine to deer hunt with. Think about the 5.56 or the 223 round. There's no kick to it. It's good for kids to use. It's loud, but there's no kick, virtually no kick at all. I've been kicked by a lot worse. I've been kicked by my turkey gun a lot worse than what my AR shoots. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring both rifles up here. I'll go ahead and say they are loaded. They are on safety. Again, gun owners need to be responsible. If you have a firearm, make sure they stay on safety until you're ready to fire. All right, guys, round is in the chamber. First things first, always make sure your firearm is on safety. You have ear and eye protection. Normally I have eye protection, but I busted the glasses that I normally wear for shooting. And always make sure your firearm is pointed safely downrange. So, 5.56, AR-15, 12 rounds. Off safety, firing in 3, 2, 1. Chamber's cleared. Firing back on safety. Magazine's out. And cleared. All right, guys, this is the 22 rifle, semi-automatic, 12 rounds also. Not exactly sure how long it took me to fire off 12 out of my AR. But safety off, firing in 3, 2, 1. Safety on. Chamber is clear. I'd say that was a little bit quicker. I'm pretty sure I stalled on the last 2 rounds out of the AR. But that's a 22 rifle, semi-automatic. Almost the same thing as the 5.56 223 round. 5.56 a little bit bigger, got a little bit more powder behind it. I'll show you the size comparison here in a moment. Next up, 1 round out of my 243. This here's my 243 Savage. As I said earlier, it's taken several deer. It's on safety. 1 round in the chamber. And why am I bringing this rifle out? The reason I'm bringing this rifle, it's my belief that the government believes that once they take the AR-15, they'll come after those rifles first. Then they're going to come after the little 22 that I just showed. Why? Because it's semi-automatic. Then they're going to come after these. Reason being, this right here. Now this here isn't a very long-range scope, but if you ask a lot of people that are uneducated and honestly ignorant about firearms, they say, well, this is a sniper rifle because it has a scope on it. Well, just like my little 22 rifle. Yes, I can shoot long range for it, or with it, sorry. But again, it's a bigger round than the 5.56. So some people probably would say, well, that's more scary, that's more intimidating, it's more dangerous. So again, 243, not a lot of kick. Really good for youth rifle. I use it just because it's what I've always used. I've had a 30-06 and I prefer the 243, but a little bit bigger than a 5.56. So just gonna go ahead, safety off. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Back on safety. Chamber's empty. Back on safety. That was 243. Now here in a moment, I'm going to show the difference in the round size between the 5.56 NATO, the 22 hollow points that I was using, and the soft tip I was using out of my 243. But as I said earlier, they want to talk about the AR-15 being an assault weapon. And if they manage to take those, things like my 22 rifle, they're next. Oh, but they're hunting rifles. Yeah, but they're not looking at anything practical. They're not looking at the fact, what they're looking at is the fact of, well, it's semi-automatic and you can shoot a lot of people with them. No one needs a semi-automatic weapon. Well, if people don't start standing up for their Second Amendment rights, then they're just going to go down the drain. The second one will go, then the First Amendment. So, I hope this has helped a little bit. I'm fixing to go back inside and we're going to show the round sizes. I really wasn't aiming at anything in particular. I thought about, well, I should have set up a target. But, oh well. I'm going to pick up my brass and head back inside, and we'll pick up the video from there, guys. All right, everybody. Right now I'm going to show you the difference between my 22 semi-automatic rifle and the AR-15 that I have that is also semi-automatic. Now, again, AR-15s, they can come in all kinds of calibers. Just because it's an AR-15 does not specifically mean it comes in 5.56 NATO. Now, what this here is a 5.56 NATO. It's a full metal jacket. That is the round. That is the bullet. Now, there is a significant size difference between my 22. As you can see, my 22 is a hollow point. Again, I know a lot of people say, well, you can't hunt with a AR-15. Now, you can hunt with AR-15. Some people probably mean, well, you can't hunt with 5.56. You can't hunt with a 5.56 full metal jacket, or at least it's not legal to here in Kentucky. I wouldn't recommend it. Now, that being said, if people want to argue the size, well, no, AR-15, the bullet rounds are just, they're too daggum big and they're so devastating. This here is that 243 round. There's a pretty good size difference in this. It's got a whole lot more powder in it. Let's see if I can hold them up here. A lot more power behind it. So, the AR-15 is just a start. That's where they want to start at, because the AR-15 looks big and scary, and it looks like a military weapon. And I mean, yeah, you can buy a 5.56 that looks has the body style of the M16. But the AR-15 does not just shoot 5.56 NATO and 223. That's one reason I believe it's called America's rifle. You can get them in all calibers. As I had said earlier, 22 round. You can get them in 300 blackout, I believe. 9mm that I know of. I know there's 6.5 Creedmoor. I believe you can get ARs in. And I know this has been a long video. This is probably one of the longest videos I've done. And it's something that I am passionate about. I was raised around guns from a young age. I know a lot of people you want to call them left wing or Democrats, whatever you want to call them. I think there's good and bad on both sides. But I know a lot of people, individuals, say that, children shouldn't be allowed around firearms. I mean, I've even seen people as far as, I've told my kids that if there's guns in the house, to call me and I'll come get you. I have guns in my home. My children have seen me use guns. They've went back out in the woods with me before. They've seen me get rid of animals on trap line before. My 4-year-old knows that we shoot deer, we eat deer. Daddy's got guns that'll shoot a deer. She's even went as far as to tell her mama to go get a gun to shoot the deer in the front yard. But I think if you are someone who is against firearms, I want you to hear me out. Find someone that you would trust that knows a little bit about firearms, and go out with them shooting one day. I think people need to be educated on guns, how they work. It's not as simple as you point at something and you pull the trigger. As simple as it sounds, that's not all there is to it. Do we have violence in this country? We've always had violence. The world has always had violence. And I know a lot of people say, well, the Second Amendment doesn't cover AR-15s. No, no one needs it. Here's the thing. The Second Amendment basically says that the U.S. people should have firearms equal to that of the U.S. military. I think the military is actually getting away from the 5.56. I may be wrong, but I think that's one reason the AR shoots comes standard in 5.56. But again, I think everyone needs to be educated on firearms, firearm safety. I'm not a big individual on we need more background checks. We've already got background checks. I don't think we need to tighten up on gun legislation and stuff like that. The only thing that I think that I would change is if you buy a firearm, I think, in my opinion, for what it's worth, you should have to go through some type of course. Safety course. Like here in Kentucky, I know that now we are a concealed carry state, which I agree with. But I believe if you buy a firearm, you should still, if you buy a pistol, you should still have to go through a concealed carry class. That way you know the rules, you know the law, you know your rights, and then you can go from there on your best judgment. I think if you buy a hunting rifle, or what most people call a hunting rifle, you need to go through a hunting class of sorts. But that's as far as my opinion goes on that. So, that's going to conclude today's video, guys. I'm sorry it took so long. Had fun making it. First one I've made like this. I think next we're probably going to go over mineral again for deer. The last one that I did was back when I first started doing this. And right now, it's February. It's actually Valentine's Day. And so I think the next one we're going to do is probably going to be over food plots and mineral, because right now we got some does that are pregnant, and we want to make sure that those fawns get as many nutrients as possible. Buck's antlers fix start growing back. Some of them have lost. I've not had my camera up and running. It actually went down on me the other day. So no idea what I have on camera there. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm probably going to fix me something for lunch. Y'all have a blessed day, and hunt hard, stay safe, and like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you want to, leave a comment. I like reading the comments. Even if it's a negative one, I'll talk with you. It may take me a little while to get to you, but I'll get to you as soon as I can. So guys, again, y'all have a blessed day. Hunt hard, stay safe. See y'all.